Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our second lesson. Before starting our second lesson on Unit 9, Strategic Change Management. So, what first we need to a bit recap what we learned during our first lesson. During our first lesson, we discuss about be able to evaluate change, agent, knowledge, attributes, skills, and development. So we discuss what sort of the skills and abilities required to be successfully implement change in our organization. We discuss different models of change as well. So then in second learning outcome, we discuss different tools, different theories. We discuss about internal, external environment as well. We need to be aware of all this because this is quite crucial if we really want to be implement the change effectively in our organization. So it's quite crucial in our organization to. So let's a bit recap first. So we discussed first what is the management during our first lesson. I mentioned you Peter Drucker. Then we discuss about change, basically the purpose behind to improve the performance in our organization, adopt something new where we discuss about how we can implement. We discuss performance management. We discuss about strategic change, transformation, realignments, incremental change, and Big Bang, which we discussed these during our last lesson. Then we discussed different models of change. So force field analysis model, we discussed the forces in your favor are forces, those are against the change, those are the factors how we can overcome those and we can implement this change. We discuss about the role of a leader in to implement the change and why there are the obstacle in change. So these all things, the models we discussed during and we discuss change transition curve model as well. So which is change, initially is hard to adopt the change. So today our second lesson, which will go through. Okay, so second lesson, welcome everyone. My name is Anjum. My email addresses are there. If you have any questions, you're just listening this recording. So please just drop me email. Today we'll go through learning outcome 3 and 4. So in this learning outcome, we will go through and we'll discuss be able to create a plan and implement effective change within our organization. So plan, what is meant by plan? Any thought about plan? Why plan? Why planning?
So you can follow it and things can go right. To have something to work towards.
Brilliant, well done. So plan provide you pathways where we are, where we want to see ourselves as an organization. Because if we are implementing the change, so we need to put plan in place how we'll do. Like I mentioned you during our last lesson, smoking. First in the UK, the smoking ban, they start to stop advertising on smoking products. Then gradually they said, okay, on the public place it can't be smoked. Then they said you can't smoke public transport. Then it's no new laws. You can't smoke within a house as well if you have a kid under 18. So that's all, the step-by-step approach. So we need to look around when we'll implement the change. We need to put the plan in place, how we'll implement it. If you just do the change so rapidly, it's very hard for people to accept it and they will react badly. So that's why the problem. Sometimes you want to be change whole system. There may be a corruption in the country and you want to be, because the people really against you, then you're creating more your sort of enemies. So we need to be look around and we need to make sure, the change plan in place, and we'll carry on doing regular basis and carry on improving the thing. Then second are LO4, which will go through be able to analyze the stakeholder. What is meant by stakeholders? Anybody? Stakeholders?
Internally within the organization that affects people.
Okay, brilliant. So stakeholders is mean anybody within our organization will be affected or outside the organization due to the action of the company or due to the new plan. So stakeholders, what is the difference between shareholder and stakeholder then?
Shareholders own the business. Stakeholders are anybody who will be affected by the actions of the company.
Brilliant. Well done. So stakeholders can be anybody. Shareholder also is known as a stakeholders as well. But other than that, all the stakeholders, any decision, whatever the company is making, if they will be influenced or their life in will be impacted by the action of the company. So always we need to look around, we need to balance their interests as well. So whenever we'll implement the change, we need to look around these issues and we need to plan for it. Okay. Any question up to now?
No.
Okay, next we're looking the cultural web is a model. So what is meant by culture first? Any definition of culture?
Norms of the environment.
Brilliant. Norms, values, the way we do the business. Yes. The way we treat is all our values, norms, represent the culture of any particular organization. Our cultural web, one of the model where we need to look around is the culture is based on various things like stories, routine, which we have within our organization, control system in place, some symbols we use that represent the culture, power structure within a change of command, or we call organization structure. So all these leads to the culture of organization, and we need to look around the culture if we under the culture, because it's a change actually mean to be you're changing the culture of the organization. So cultural web is developed by Gary Johnson. Welcome. Okay, so cultural web is developed by Gary Johnson as a part of his work to attempt and explain why firms often fail to adjust to environmental change as quickly as they need it to. So that's why we need to be understand the culture, what is in place first, because when we'll implement the change, so we can properly implement it, what we supposed to be achieved, we will achieve. So that's why it's crucial. Okay, so then different element in the cultural web is concerned the manifestations of the culture in the organization as six interrelated elements. Six interrelated elements, those we need to discuss and will implement the change. So a routine, tools, so we need to look around the routines are the way the things are done around here, and the main even the demonstrate the beneficiaries are competency, so which we need to look around in term of to implement the change. Then next, anybody any questions? Stories we need to look around that implies tell one another other about the organization, its history, personalities, and use communicate traditions, standards, and role models. So we need to look around the role model. We need to set it within our organization. That will help to be implement the change effectively. Symbols we discuss just the logos, some terminologies. So if we will write some terminology, people feel really boring. So if we not explain those terminology, those symbols, what is the reasons behind it? Like one of the company called British Gas in the UK, they use the slogan, we put ourselves in the customer's shoes. So we need to look around why we put ourselves in the customer's shoes. What is meant by this? So it's meant by this, because we need to keep ourselves in the customer place, and then we need to think what really customer want. So when we launch our product and services that meet their needs and wants, so that's why we need to be look around these, because if we set these in our organization properly, that will help us to be achieved, and we can implement the change effectively. Power structure. So think about democratic leadership style or autocratic leadership style. How much power we want to give to the people to be implement the change. You want to change it, you want, if you want to cut, okay, no, everything will be centralized. No, you can't really do. If you need a rim of paper to buy some printing paper, you need to move to, what do you think, if will everything will centralize, what are the benefits? We used to be decentralized, everybody, we used to be regional managers, we used to be operational managers, but we are cutting the cost now and we want everything to centralize because we are reducing the roles. What do you think? What are the benefit will be centralizing things?
Saving money. Um,
Saving money, well done. So what will be the problem? What are the disadvantage will be?
Loss of jobs.
Yes, lost the job. In an organization, we can't understand what is the actually local culture in that culture. Yes, because if everything we centralize, and it's a time wasting as well. We need to look around. If rim of paper somebody need to order, and we need to write to the head office to allocate the fund. So it takes is very time consuming. We need to look around the cost and benefit analysis. It will impact on the culture. Maybe people will be frustrated and leave the organization. That will cost us more than the retaining our employees. So staff retention is very, very important. So control system, think about, because in the past people used to come whenever they like to. Now we are implementing the new clock in system. Yes, we need to change it in our organization, clock in clock out system. So maybe now is will be changed, or we are now going to be changed from one shift to 3 different shifts. So maybe we want, and we want to be shift manager each shift as well. So all these changes have some impact in the organization productivity. So always we need to look around. Then 5Ds, this approach of the change, this is a model. 5D inquiry. This also introduced by the David, and this model is also is used the approach to change the management. Yes. So rather than the concentrating upon the ineffectual practices of the firm, we need to identify the solving organization problem. So we need to look around what are the problems within our organization, and we need to solve them. How we can solve the problem? Anybody knows how we can? First, always you identify the problem, what a problem itself. Yes. Then we need to acknowledge it. Yes. And you need to find our various alternatives, our various different sort of options to solve the problem. So we need to look around when we want to implement the change. We need to identify, and we need to find all the factual information behind the problem. So like we have a problem in our organization, can be we recruit our staff, and normally people 60% are staff leaving within 3 months. So what do you think? What are the problem? Why people are leaving within first 3 months? Why staff retention is very low? Anybody, any thought? Any thought why people leaving within 3 months, after joining the organization?
It might not be what they seemed for it to be.
Okay.
Not as much benefits that they were expecting.
Okay. Yes, that can be more reason. maybe we are telling in the job description different thing, but actually the nature of the job is totally different. Yes, that create a problem because we advertise something else and actually they are doing something else and they have to do something else. Yes, so that create a problem. That can be one of the reasons. Maybe we need to focus on the changing the job description now. So if we'll change the job description, we can maybe retain the people. So that's sometimes is a problem in our organization. Then next we're looking now management model change transitions curve. So we need to, first of all, if you want to implement the change effectively, we need to define the vision and the mission. What is the difference between them? What is the vision and what is the mission? Anybody any thought? These two words, vision and the mission? So what is the vision meant by and what is the mission? Anybody any thought?
You're looking like upwards. The missions are something that you complete, like targets and stuff.
Well done. So mission, normally why you are in the business. Yes, what is the purpose beyond? Vision, where you want to see yourself in the long run. Yes. So every company need to be prepared their mission and vision. So if we want to make any change, so we're not supposed to contradict with the mission and the vision of the organization. So if it's a contradict with the mission and the vision of the organization, then of course, we can't implement the change effectively. Define the corporate plan. Corporate plan is mean overall organization plan. What we'll do, how we'll do, all this, define the strategic and operational plan. What is the difference between the corporate plan and operational plan? Any thought?
The corporate plan is the overall plan, while the operational plan is the departmental plans, which lead to the main plan, isn't it?
Yes. Okay, think about in our organization how many departments we have. Normally we have HR department. Yes, we have a finance department. We have, if we are manufacturing organization, maybe we have a production department. Yes, we have a sales and marketing department. These are the key departments in our organization. So these are all known as operational areas. Yes, they are functional area in our organization. So each department we can make the separate plan which called operational plan to operate the operations. Yes. So strategic plan corporate plan can be overall or plan, and strategic mean the long-term plans. Yes, not short-term basis. Normally operational plan for the short period of time. Corporate plan is a strategic plan for the long period of time. Okay, team and individual objective. So first of all, team objective. So when you implement the change, first of all, you make a teams. Okay. We need to make a team. Is it team? Can we randomly pick the people and we'll put them in a team? What do you think? How we can make the effective teams?
By department.
By department? Departmental teams? Or we can look around, different skills and ability in a team, yes? Because if one type of skills will say, okay, like in schools, we'll say, okay, all the high ability student we can put in a one group and all the low ability student we can put in a one group. So sometimes this plan is not effective in a way because sometimes people can learn from each other better than, yes? So we need to think about how we can implement effectively, because it depends upon the cultural issue, depends upon the ability of the people, and depend upon the behavior or the cultural background of the people. So always to increase the productivity in our organization and always set the team objective. One great scholar, Henry Ford, owner of the Ford, he gave very good one quotation. He mentioned about the team coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress and working together is a success. Yes. So for the success in our organization, we need to work in team, but sometimes working in a team can create a problem as well. Oh, few people in a team working very hard, but others just wasting the time. So maybe those people giving productivity, they will say, hang on a minute, I'm coming always on time. I'm always doing my job on time. I'm finishing my task and I have to help others as well to finish their task. And we are all getting the salaries equally. Yes, that create a problem. So we need to look around. So we need to set some individual objective within a team as well, and we need to reward them. One is a team reward. One, we need to be look around the individual reward system as well in our organization. Evaluate and feedback on performance. So we need to evaluate it and we need to feedback. So is downward and upward. We call bottom down and bottom up approach. So we need we need to carry on taking the feedback to the top level management and top level management view to down levels, and the plan can be so we can easily implement. Okay, next we're looking model of the change is called change equation. Packard Harris gave this, a situation in which the change is successfully is summed up in the equation. So first of all, D represent dissatisfaction, V represent VN, F represent first steps, and R represent resistance to change. So people resist, they don't want to change it. Okay, so this model change management, we need to look around. The right hand R represent the resistance to change, and this must be weighted by 3 factors of the left hand change effectively. These factors D, the level of dissatisfaction. What do you think? Dissatisfaction. If people are dissatisfied, can they implement the change?
No.
No,
How we can satisfy them?
Well, changing to their needs.
Changing their needs. Try to be involved then at the planning stage. Yes. As much we involve them and we create effective communication between senior and junior level management, that will help, So, and we can set the right reward system within our organization. Any question?
No.
Be the desirability of the new VN that is presented, and can people see how the change will improve the thing and accept the ways in which their roles may also change. So maybe we need to look around. Oh, short term maybe you're working hard, but in the long run there will be opportunity to be earn more salary. Opportunity will be the growth opportunities as well, your role like your assistant manager. So if we'll implement this change, this will lead to be the organization will grow, business will grow, ultimately you will be more opportunity to grow. Okay, then next F is a practicality of initiative. Can everyone understand the first step required to achieve the goals? So we need to look around these factors. If everyone not understand it, is creating a problem. So we can't implement the change effectively in our organization. So this model we can use to implement the change, and we need to look around. Okay, next model again, Litwin model of organization change and performance. Diagrammatically represent the driver of organization change. So what are the driver of our which we need to look around and we can implement the change effectively. Let's link a change is one component can affect another component. With the change is in the external environment, consider the most important factor. What is meant by external environment? Anybody knows what is meant by external environment?
Things outside of the organization.
Any example of it? Okay. a couple of us, we learn PEST. Yes, political. If political parties change, their manifestos change, of course, we have to change ourselves as an organization. These are not in our control. Economic environment. If the basic interest rate is changed, yes, basic interest rate is changed, of course, the cost of production will change. So we need to look around when it's changed. Is everything almost still changed? So we need to be adjust our activities. Then social factor. Yes. In society, fashion trends, various other things, social factors we need to look around. Technological factor. Technology. So we need to think about if we don't change, we hate social media, but social media can be used and it can be used very effectively in various perspectives. So NHS is going to launch this Skype service in the UK to book appointments. Skype service to get the feedback and engage all the stakeholders through Skype network. So we need to look around at the GP strategies. So all this is quite useful. We need to look around these to properly implement the change. Yes. Okay. Any thought? Any question?
No.
Okay. First of all, if we want to implement the change, we need to really understand the component of the change and its link with it. In our organization, if we don't recruit the right person for the right job at the right place, of course, change can't be implemented. We need to look around. Recently, we want to change something, but we haven't. Anybody heard about GDPR? Those in the UK especially, it's called General Data Protection Regulation. We used to be DPA. It's General Data Protection Act 1998 because we need to keep the information client confidential information. We're not supposed to say it because this is external legislation change. So we have to, as an organization, change as well our requirement because we supposed to be not get some information online or not send emails to individual without their intentions, without their authorization. So all this we need to be looked in terms of external environment. So according to this model, we need to be focused on external environment to implement the change. Okay, then when we'll implement the change, next we need to be look around strategic capabilities. Do we have a capabilities to implement the change? In our organization, to implement the change is quite crucial. We have a capability. Do we have a right people? Do we have a right mindset? In our organization, we want to be changed. We want to remove or eliminate the corruption element within a country, within a society. What we need to look around. Do have a leader have a capability to do so? Okay, what is the difference between competencies and capabilities? Anybody, any thought? What is the key difference? Hello?
Capability is able, if you can do the work. Competence is what you need to be able to do the work.
Brilliant. Okay, it's a capability like passing your driving test. You're capable, but you with the few year experiences, you become competent. You're not really looking the maneuvers because your observation will develop as well. You know your ways. You know your things. You don't need to use maybe at that point sat nav. Yes. So all this we need to look around in terms of when we want to be implement the change. We need to look around the capabilities and competencies those we have and what really we want, what roles is required to be implement the change effectively in our organization. Okay, next model is VRIO model, which is value, royalty, in ability and organizational support. We need to look around what sort of the things required to implement. SWOT analysis we can go through as well. What's the strength, what weaknesses, what opportunities are threats analysis to implement the change. We need to conduct the to implement the change. So which will next be looking what are the strategic capabilities required to implement the change. How do strategic capability contribute if we want to create a competitive advantage through change. So we need to look around, do we have a capabilities, we have a competencies or not. Next we need to look around when we want to be implement the change, do we have a resources. We need to follow the resource based view and we need to make the strategies for it. So resource based RBV model, which is consists of strategic capabilities. We need to look around the resources those we have a competencies. Okay, RVB model first, for if we want to create the competitive advantage, we need to look around, do we have a physical, do we have a financial, or do we have a human resources, and in how effectively we deploy these resources to maximize our returns. So all our purpose is to reduce the wastage and improve the efficiencies, because our competitors are doing our our competitors' profit is increasing, why not our profit? So we need to think about how effectively. Lot of businesses, they try to be work 24/7 to improve it, yes, or around how they can work on the full capacity, yes, because if it's a spare capacity is waste. So we need to look around, because that's why some hotel restaurant off peak they try to be sell the things cheaper, because ultimately the fixed cost is still there. So we need to be, at least if we'll carry on working at the break even, still we can earn something, yes. Then the peak time we can earn more, that will be peak time profit, other will be the break even, that will help. Otherwise, we can't really maximize our profit. Any question?
No.
Nope.
Okay, next now. Yes, with the passage of time, sometimes capabilities, we used to say, oh, we are very capable. But with the passage of time, the technologies change and the things change, and those capabilities carry on redundant. Yes, redundant mean, the carry on becoming outdated. Yes, we need to make sure, we'll keep up to date and we'll do upskilling. Dynamic capabilities mean the capabilities we need to be changed with the passage of dynamic, yes. So mean by which the organization ability to renew, we need to renew it, we need to recreate its capability to implement the change effectively in our organization. So that's we need to be focused. Generic capabilities, sensing, we need to constantly scanning, exploring new opportunities across market, technology. We need to addressing the opportunities through new product processes if we want to be implement throughout, effectively for the sustainability perspective in our organization. Deconfiguration of the capabilities, new product and new model. We need to look around what are the threshold capabilities which we can stay at least, will meet the basic threshold, which is a minimum a minimum achievement need to be, at least we can sustain in our organization. So all this we need to, please, when you do your assignment, you can discuss these as well. So threshold capabilities, threshold resources we required, and threshold competencies we required. We need to look around how we can be differentiate ourselves and compare with competitors. Any question?
No.
No.
Okay, so core competencies, what are the core competencies required? So if we want to be launch successful product, we need to look around, are we produce the product, we have a lot of ideas, but we don't maybe have a skill or competency to implement it. We have a knowledge, we have a ability, capability, but we don't have a competencies to implement it. So that's why can we create a problem. So link set of skills, activity, resources that together to deliver the customer value, customer feel. What is meant by value added? Anybody heard value added products? Yes. What is meant by value added? How we can add value? Can we add value? Anybody, any thought? How we can add value? Okay. If we are providing online booking, for suppose if we are a travel company, yes, online booking, online tracking, yes, tracking, regular feedback from customer, yes, giving something extra than the customer expectation. Like, you're going, you're supposed to drink the coffee, but they are offering you free magazine with it. Yes, you was not expecting they will give you the free magazine, but they are giving because that is something you wasn't expecting. That's extra value added. Yes, so how we can add the value, something your clients, your customer not really expecting. Okay, so look around. Strategic capability can create advantage. We need to look around value, how ability exists to create the value for customer. Do this know our few competitor possess? We need to change it. How we can, because we have to do it, and then we need to be put ourselves to implement the change effectively. So are the capability difficult and costly for the competitors to create? Is the organizational appropriate, organize and exploit the capabilities? People have ability, but we never really explore it. So we need to look around this effectively. So please, we can use this model as well. Okay, next we're looking their action-centered leadership model. This is the leadership model, define the leadership in terms of three interlocking or overlapping circle. So we need to look around the task, we need to look around the individual, and we need to look around the group or team. If we want to be implement the change effectively, we need to be, these are the interrelated task, in individually. So three circle typing the core area are the concern, the leaders which are achieving the common task, developing, meeting the needs of individual and the team members, and building and maintaining the team. If all three elements are satisfied, then the team become effective, achieving the required result. Each element in the model is equally important. Success comes from the right balance is achieved between that all three. Effective leadership varies in the degree of emphasis on these three components. So always we need to look around task itself, group, and the individual as well to be achieved. So certain function need to be performed in order to satisfy each responsibility. Three function including, we need to look around the planning, we need to look around initiating, and we need to look around the controlling, supporting information, and evaluating. So all these are the crucial to be implement the change in our organizations. So now our discussion will be look around the stakeholder analysis. So implement the change effectively, we require to conduct the stakeholder analysis. So stakeholder analysis, some stakeholders are directly impacted due to the change, some stakeholder narrowly impact. Some stakeholders significant can be influenced, some stakeholders can little influence they have. So we need to make sure we will balance our with all the, and we need to meet the key stakeholders depends which nature of the business we are doing, what are the key stakeholders. So anybody heard about rule 80-20? Anybody ever heard about rule 80-20?
Yes. Pareto principle, getting 20% from the 80%.
Well done. So normally in a business we saying the some 80% sales is coming from 20% customer and 20% sales is coming from 80% customer. Yes. So some customer you have such a key customer, if you due to the change, if they dissatisfy by you making the things new, so you will lose. If you're losing one customer, mean you're losing 4 sales. So all we need to look around. If one customer is giving 1 sales, those are less important than others. So we need to stakeholder analysis. We need to identify, like the think about Unilever and Tesco, and if the Tesco say sorry, we're not going to buy the product Unilever because it's happened in the past. So because it's lot of Unilever's product is buying or selling through Tesco. So Unilever need to really satisfy, and Unilever need to listen Tesco closely what their management is saying, or they can negotiate with them effectively. We need to look around our vice versa. We need to look this because there's a power of stakeholders, competitors, consumer group, government, media. So due to the media, what do you think? If we not keep the media happy, if we don't keep the media happy, so it creates really problems. So stakeholder analysis per se, we need to make sure we identify the stakeholder needs and want. We'll try our best to meet them, and we need to identify what are the key stakeholders are. Stakeholders mapping document, we can look around, keep satisfy, which are those stakeholders we need to keep satisfy them. We need to monitor them only, or we need to engage and actively seek to influence. Like if we have a local customer or the local resident, we need a good relationship. Otherwise, they can be against, and they can join different union, and they can put the pressure to close the factory in this area. So we need to make sure every action, what are the key stakeholders will be impacted by our actions. So keep informed. Yes, we need to inform customer by using various to advertising or providing them right information at the right time, at the right place, with the right amount. So all this we need to be look around in the stakeholder perspective. Any question?
No.
Okay. So we'll go back to our document, what we supposed to. Okay. So please, when you do your assignment, okay, anybody study about 7S approach? 7S is? Okay.
No.
7S, we need to look around the system, we need to look around the structure, yes, we need to look around the stuffing. So this is called 7S approach, and we need to balance all 7S's when we want to be changed. So this model, quarter and rows, and this model we already learned during our lesson as well. Just please, you can, when you make your assignment, and you can look around this as well. And we discussed tools and techniques today, and matrix stakeholder analysis. I mentioned you, we can use stakeholder, keep inform our powerful minimum effort we require with some stakeholders. So those as legislation which I mentioned you few. We need to look around the globalization, mergers, all the changes, whatever happening. It's not mean every point, but overall discussion need to be. We need to look around this potential resistance to change. We discuss about the cultural web model. So thus we need to. Okay, we discuss some conflict as well can be, because when will any change will happen, its conflict will carry on starting. But like think about what is the conflict between shareholders and customer. Is there any conflict?
Well, customer want to, no, the shareholder want to maximize their return. The
Yes,
shareholder want to maximize the quality of the product they buy and the price.
brilliant. And shareholder want the maximum return and the customer want the cheaper product. Yes.
Yes.
So it's both different ways. So we need to look around. If we not fulfill the requirement of the customer, yes, so customer not going to buy it. Of course, we need to be give the dividend more to the shareholder, but we need to be satisfied to customer, because ultimately customer are the king. Yes, if they move around, we of course so that's why we need to look around. In the same way, director want more bonus. Yes, want to be earn more money, and actual owner of the business are the shareholders. So that's why it's conflict start, and we need to make sure we will balance all these their expectation if we want. So how we can minimize the conflict? Always, we need to be involve them in a meeting. We need to make sure we have our proper leadership style in place, like we discussed in the previous lesson, democratic, autocratic, yes, are free run leaders, with the leaders which change the leadership style according to the lot of discussion going around U-turn. Anybody heard about U-turn? Is it the leader need to make U-turn? What said before can change it? U-turn. What do you think about Brexit? Any U-turn? Brexit?
Well, so many.
Too many U-turns. Yes. So first place is said no. Brexit mean Brexit. Yes. Well, they said no. This no. Labor is saying different things and all. So carry on. Sometimes we need to be U-turn by looking the external environment. Yes, the factor. But we need to make sure if we change something, it keeps satisfy our stakeholders. We need to be keep them on board, especially key stakeholders. Otherwise, will be happen. You may be heard how many in both these two political party in the UK. How many ministers left? These parties. Yes. So we are losing the key personnel. So we need to be make sure how we can engage them effectively. We listen them. We their views. To be effectively implement the change in our organization. Any question?
No.
Okay. So have you seen your assignment? What we supposed to do? Have you checked?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll quick few minutes we'll spend on before our finished today lesson. I'll send you all these separate document on each model to read. Yes, when you write your assignment, and I'll upload extra resources on Moodle as well, so that will help you. So let's quick we'll go through assignment brief. So what we're supposed to, so we can start. If you start with your during your lessons and you carry on doing almost one learning outcome every week, so you can send me, I can carry on giving you feedback. So that will help when we'll finish our lesson, so we can complete our assignment side by side as well. And we all okay how to do reference in assignments or not? I can arrange one session which I can show you how to create table of contents, how to prepare assignments. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So because really especially reference, your assignment is quite crucial. So if you click here, that's your assignment brief. So all the learning outcome, we need to look around what we're supposed to. Yes, you will see there in this, we are going to meet 1.2, 2.2, 2.3, 3.1, 3.2. We not cover 5.3 yet. Yes. So all we need to, when we'll do 1.2, so you go back to 1.2 and we need to find what is the 1.2. Critically analyze the critical attribute of change agent. Yes. Agent mean the middleman. Yes. Those will help, to be help in term of the, so you can explain the, we'll go through agency theory, which is the mean the principal owner, which is the shareholder is the owner, and agent, who is agent then? Shareholder is the owner. Who's working on the behalf of? Shareholder, directors, yes, of the company. Normally those are agent, yes, of the shareholders. So we need to look around. So create a sense of urgency, evaluate internal and external environment. We discussed internal and external environment last lesson as well. External is the past, political, economic, social, and technological. And the internal, we can say, is implies, yes, directors, suppliers, and all those come under the micro environment. So these we can look around, build a correlation, yes. So how we can identify the change agent and how we can.
I can't see what you're seeing. I can just see the stakeholder analysis presentation page. Oh, now I can see it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So next we discuss about VNS. We during our first lesson as well, I mentioned you in other units, those completed with me. Strategy, the words came from the Greek word strategist, which is mean used to be in military to encounter enemies. So we need is equally now we make the strategies action plan in business. We little bit discuss about the communication further. We go through communication techniques, or different models of communications, which is effectively remove obstacle, how we can remove obstacle, and how we can engage, stakeholders we discuss about today. Stakeholders, different stakeholders, we need to inform them, we need to keep them happy, and those are direct, indirect stakeholder, different models, stakeholder analysis. Okay, SMART objective, what is meant by SMART? What is meant by SMART? SMART word is stand for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time defined. Yes. So what I'll do, each your this key heading, next lesson I'll give you some each area some headings. Yes. Those can be, if you go through those, and that can be meet all these are learning outcome, because we'll finish 5.3 next lesson as well. Yes.
Yes.
So then task 2, this one you need to be one strategic change plan document, and it's supposed to be. So when you making any plan, so first lesson we discuss about whenever we'll make any plan, we need to look around mission, VN, yes, corporate objective, yes, we need to do market audit, environmental and audit, internal, external environment. We need to look around the legislation, we need to look around the stakeholders and all, and then we can implement the change. So we can discuss all, and within we can show the plan. So I'll send you one document, it's a template planning document that will help us as well. So when we'll make any plan, what sort of the things we need to look around. Okay, any question?
No.
Okay.
So next lesson, I'll try keep half lesson to go through how you can structure assignment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will see you all next week during next lesson. So please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate. Just drop me email and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Yeah? So please carry on doing a bit in chunks. So upload all extra documents, all these theories, so you can read in details, Yes, because we just a bit discuss, our view about. Maybe you can slightly go through, read carefully, and if any question, get back to me, and I'll go through it. During our next lesson, we can recap first, and then we can go through. Okay.
Okay.
And hope so weather will be nice on your end, and I will speak you all next lesson.